Welcome to the LFG Pats Pod with your hosts, Joe and Mike. Let's go!
Let's go.
All right, welcome into the LFG Pats Pod. This is a very special, fun episode. The post-draft, Mike. We're off the high of the NFL draft party. It was actually pretty amazing with all the industry people we had there. Mike, what do you think? Did you have a good time?
Oh, we had a fantastic time. We had a couple of technical issues, which hamstrung us a little bit, but we had enough guys show up, and we had a great contingent on the panel. And I think it went really well. We could have had more of my family there, but they all had previous obligations and whatnot, and plus it kind of takes diehards to want to care about what's going on with the draft, like us. So we had a fantastic time, and I can't wait to do the next one.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I think it was a great turnout. It ended up turning out to be more of an industry night, which I was okay with. Like we had probably, I don't know, about 10 or so fans there, and then probably like 15 people industry wise, plus friends and family. So I mean, I think it was a great turnout. It was probably about 30ish, 40ish people at any given moment. And yeah, it's tough. I mean, people like to kind of cozy up to their own situations with the draft. They have all different rituals, watching at their house, watching with friends. So I get it. But we are definitely gonna do another game this year. Probably, I'm hoping to do the away Bills game. We'll see how the schedule shakes out. But I really like the vibe of that away Bills game. It just feels like it's one of the games of the season for us, right?
It worked last time, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Were we at home during week 5 last year, or were we on the road? I can't even remember.
We were on the road. Yeah, it was the away game.
When we had our draft party.
It was the away Bills game, and that's the game we won, right, in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So
that's when we knew we had something special going on for that year, was that particular game right there.
That was legit the turning point for sure, where it was like, okay, we're on to something now. We're cooking with something. So yeah, so guys, tune in. We'll as the schedule comes out, we have some time now until that happens. But when it does, we're gonna make plans. We will do the same thing. It's a lot of fun. It's an away game, right? So it's not like people are gonna be traveling. Most people aren't gonna be traveling. So yeah. So anyways, so we have a lot to talk about tonight. Rogue Island, thank you very much, Ryan Bissett. We hooked him up with a signed John Hannah jersey framed. It was pretty sick. He was very happy. It was his birthday as well. And so we'll talk about our other sponsor too, Horizon HVAC. If you guys have any problems with your AC units, you probably know by now it's getting a little warmer. So if you've kicked these things on and they're not running tip-top shape, get them checked out. Call Horizon HVAC. Schedule an appointment, guys. Honestly, if you get this the silver package, I think it's $250. It includes them coming out and doing basic repairs, cleaning the thing out on the outside, the condenser units. And so it's worth it. Just give them a call. Horizon HVAC, Mike Cesaroni, give them a call. Anyways, so into the show, Mike. Give me like your general kind of how you felt night one of the draft. Let's start with that.
Night one, I was absolutely ecstatic. I thought that we were going to have a chance to draft. First of all, I've been banging the drum about getting a tackle in the first round and an edge in the second round. I've been saying that throughout the whole entire process, and that's exactly how it played out. And not only that, I was pleasantly surprised because I thought those two picks were going to be Iheanacho, right? I thought he was going to slide to us at 31. And then I wanted to figure out how to trade up for Gabe Akis. And while we didn't get Iheanacho, I think he got a little bit overdrafted because the Steelers kind of panicked when they were trying to draft Mekhi Lemon and the Eagles jumped them and essentially just like ruined their plan on that. So their plan B was Iheanacho, which is great because it left Caleb Lomu open. And his average draft position was 28, and that's exactly where we took him, is at 28. And I couldn't be more excited about the pick. I love that pick for now and for the future. For now, we love to run the backup swing tackles. You know, he's going to have to learn both positions, but he's also going to be a move type of guy, the third end or the third tight end on the line to block in certain situations. So he's still going to get his feet wet. It's not like he's going to be redshirted the whole entire time. He's still going to be out there. It's just acclimating him. He has a very left tackle body type of frame. He's like what, over 6'6", 315. That's like kind of prototypical left tackle. So he's going to have to learn right tackle, unless we want to get into some crazy, insane hypotheticals that we may or may not get into if they want to shuffle things around. But he's going to be one of our tackles for the future. We've really beefed up on that position, and you can never have too many tackles. We talk about people movers and planet people, and about there's only so many guys in the world that actually grow that big and are that agile to actually play the tackle position in the NFL. He's one of those guys. So I consider him to be a linchpin for the offensive line moving forward. And then going on to Akis, that was the guy I wanted out of all the edge guys, and there were all sorts of them. That was the guy I wanted. I would have taken him at 31. I honestly would have, because I think he brings all the intangibles that we're looking for in that position for this particular team. He can do it all. He's a 3-down player, and he's had to cut weight. He's 6'3", 260, and last year he was playing at like 270 at some points. So this kid's got some girth to him. But if you watch him, it's all muscle, man. I don't think that kid has a body fat on him at all, and he's a mauler. He is an absolute brawler on the edge, and we could have gotten somebody. We have early down guys in Landry and Draymond Jones, and we could have gone and opted for a third down guy, a strictly speed guy, a guy to bend the edge. We could have done that, but
like
what we
DDS,
did get,
Danny Dennis,
yeah, and what we got was a 3-down player. This guy's a 3-down player. I think he's going to be a linchpin of that defense for years to come. Super happy about that pick. And then Eli Raridan, I like that guy. I've always liked him early. I love his intangibles, and I love his measurables, obviously. And the fact that he can block inline wide tight end. He can do that. He needs to add a little girth to his frame, which he's acknowledged. The kid needs to get like another 10 pounds going for him, but he can bust a seam. He has great build-up speed, and he's a very willing blocker, whether it be on the move or inline. So some people are saying that we reached for him a little bit. I don't buy it, because I saw the way that tight ends were coming off the board, and a lot of guys reach. So many teams reach for so many weird tight ends. Like, it just didn't seem to match up to me. And when we got this guy, I was like, all right, this is where he was supposed to go at this particular time. So I'm obsessed with the first 3 picks. I think it's fantastic. And then you want to talk about day 3, and Joe, that's kind of a whole different conversation. Is when you get.
All right, let me respond to, because I was talking about night 1, and of course Mike goes straight into 2, 3. He's going deep.
You can't help.
You can't be caged, Mike. Some birds can't be caged. That's just how it is.
Let me fly.
Name the movie, Mike. Some birds can't be caged. They're just too beautiful, too bright. Anyways.
Oh wait, that wasn't.
Come on! Don't do it to me.
It wasn't Charles Buchanan.
My favorite movie. My favorite movie. Come on.
Oh, are you talking about Shawshank?
Yeah, dude. You know. Come on.
That's right.
All right,
that's right.
All right.
So Andy Dufresne had to fly.
That's right. You can't be caged.
So
like looking at the first round, right? I pulled it up here. The interesting thing about Caleb Lomu is I think the Patriots had him much higher on their board than 28. So I think this is where they maybe had other plans. And here's where I'll go, where my head went on that night of the draft. When they traded up, I said, Omar Cooper is still up there. And I'm a huge Omar Cooper guy. I was like, please God, give us Omar Cooper, because just the thought of Dobbs, Cooper, and AJ Brown, for just that thought for Drake May it just gives us so many options on offense. Obviously, that pretty much wipes the slate clean of our existing wide receiver core, right? Like you're pretty much knocking Booty out there. You're knocking Matt Collins. You're saying Kyle Williams isn't going to be a factor, right? So I like how it ended up, even though I was screaming for Omar Cooper. Caleb Loma was the obvious pick. It was the obvious move. The tackles after that completely fell off. I could even have been talked into Keldrick Falk, right? But clearly they said to themselves, this kid's higher on our board and he somehow fell. We got to go get him, right? And then in the second round, I agree, Mike. I think they looked at the board and they said, well, what do we got? TJ Parker's gone, right? So some of these are Mason Thomas. Maybe they were higher on him. He's gone. Maybe they had some linebackers, which is another position we'll talk about later. A pick before us, we traded up with the Chargers to get that 23rd pick. A pick before us, Eli Stowers is gone, right? And they were heavily linked to Eli Stowers. So to me, I think this is a situation where they traded up and they were like, listen, beyond Gabe Akis, right? It got pretty thin at edge. It got pretty thin pretty quickly. And so you're now into the next tier of like Romello Height. There was Danny Dennis. Now, an interesting one that I really made me angry, because this one I thought for sure Danny Dennis Sutton was going to go in the second or the third. He drops to the fourth to 120 to the Packers. The Packers absolutely stole Danny Dennis Sutton, who you want to talk about a speed rusher. That would have, to me, like, this is where, Mike, and I know we talked about day one. Now we're getting into day two. I do agree Eli Raridan day three was, a great fit. Everyone was talking about it, right? We still have Hunter Henry. You let Austin Hooper walk. I think it's a perfect complement to Hunter Henry, right? Because Raridan can play both. He's kind of like a young Hunter Henry to an extent, a little bigger. And I think he's got a little more upside maybe. But yeah, I think it's a great pick. He's a great all-around player. Now you got him over some of these guys here, which I'm not upset about any of these guys, right? Like Jennings Dunker. We don't really need Jennings Dunker, right? We just drafted a tackle. We have AVT. I guess you could say that would be a good way to bolster the future line, right? But how much can we invest in the future until we have to invest in right now? I think Eli Raridan's the right pick there. Where we start to, what you and I start to kind of not differ is, but where we kind of feel like we could have had some opportunity is this fourth round, right? I mean, this is where, to me, there was so much value in there. The Raiders kicked it right off and said, yep, fourth round, that sounds right for the best corner in the whole draft outside of the injury, right?
Yeah.
You got guys like Caleb Proctor, a D tackle. You got Brendan Thompson, who these guys were clamoring for. Did you see the Mike McDaniels? Mike McDaniels said, "Get me Brendan Thompson. I'll take all my clothes off if you get this kid." That's literally what he said. Or he said, "I'll take my shirt off," or something to that effect. It was a cage case. There's a lot of guys. Drew Shelton, a lot of tackles went in here. Elijah Surratt, great value for this pick. A lot of great play. Danny Dennis Sutton. Mike Washington, even. Mike Washington is like a spark stud. Like, this guy's a complete monster. Skylar Bell. Caleb, this back-to-back pick by the Bills, actually really solid, right? Skylar Bell, who's a burner. They don't really have a player like this on the roster. And then Caleb Elams-Orr, who is just like an off-the-ball freak pick. And he went a lot earlier than I thought, too. Fourth round was a little earlier for him, but Genesis Smith, right? All these guys, Trey Moore, linebacker, right? To me, Mike,
we missed out. We missed out on the fourth round. We missed out.
That's the story to me. Kyle Lewis. I was screaming. I could not believe Kyle Lewis was around at the bottom of the fourth. I was yelling at the screen, going, "Come on, man! Trade up and go get Kyle." I don't care if you have to trade next year's fourth. Go get Kyle fucking Lewis. And I was so mad at that, because we know what this guy can do. We've seen it. We've seen his comps. We've seen his, speed sideline to sideline. He's a great coverage linebacker, and he comes up and makes tackles as well. So, what do you think, Mike? What are you thinking about this?
I mean, like I told you earlier, the first half of the draft was great, but at what cost? You lost both of your fourth round picks. You just gave me a litany of fourth round guys that would have been very useful players. So we kind of sold out to get all our guys in the front of the draft, and then we bailed on the rest of it. Like they took Prunty in the 5th round, but then they traded back, picked up an extra 6th rounder for next year, and were contented to go with a bunch of 7th round picks when everybody was saying that this wasn't a deep draft class and that you're looking at the top 4 rounds where you want to make your bones. So what I would have liked, and I don't know if I mentioned already, but is for them to package as many of those later round picks as humanly possible to move up and get quality over quantity. And it's going to be remain to be seen because a lot of the guys they took on day 3 are complete projects. Whether it be developmental or scheme fit or what have you, or why they fell, if they fell for a certain reason, or why we picked them so much higher than they were supposed to go. So it's kind of like a mixed bag for me as far as the way they overall addressed day 3. And I have to address the elephant in the room right here, right now. And I've talked to you about it. I'm sure everybody talks about it. The fact that Vrabel wasn't there on day 3, I don't know how much of an impact that had, but to me, just internally, it felt like we suffered a little bit because last year on day 3, we wrecked shop, man. We got a bunch of good late round guys. Like we nailed last year's draft. We nailed it. And Mike Vrabel had a lot to do with that. And right now, I don't see that with the day 3 picks or with the undrafted free agents. It doesn't seem like Mike had a whole hand in that. So it just lends to the further drama about whatever's going on with him right now. The Patriots haven't done themselves any favors whatsoever as far as like transparency, that they're reporting that the guy's doing this and he's doing that. Like the Patriots organization kind of botched that one up. They are adding fuel to the fire by saying, oh, Vrabel's going to do this, Vrabel's going to do that. If they had kept radio silence and just let the man work his personal stuff out in his personal world, then this wouldn't keep getting oxygen. But now you have to look at it because to me, it appears, and I'd like to hear your thought about it, Joe, but it appears that not having him for that time period on day 3 and undrafted free agency appears that we missed him. So is that true? Do you think we actually missed him when he wasn't there?
Yeah, I don't buy into I don't buy into the fact, especially after seeing these results, that he wouldn't have had more of an impact here into picking his guys. Like I can't fathom that, we wouldn't have maybe a Caden Curry or maybe one of these linebackers, right? He's a defensive coach, right? So you got to think that his thumbprint was on this and to an extent, but the way that it shook out, I think they just kind of went into like best player available mode and didn't really, pick for any kind of need or any kind of, something that would either fit the culture or just things that, Vrabel would do. To me, it just felt like it was that, not that they punted it, but essentially that they just kind of went into more of a set it and forget it mode. I don't know. It just had that feeling where it was like there was a lot of great players, and if they were gonna move up and do something and shake and move, I'm glad they did it in the first 3 rounds, right? Because this is your best shot to get key talent, right? The 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th, it's a little more of a crapshoot. But saying that, if you look at these boards, there's a lot of quality players. Kamari Ramsey, quality player, 5th round, right? Even a guard like Bo Stevens, right? Zakee Wheatley, we've talked about him numerous times. This guy could have been our future heir apparent to Kevin Byard. Justin Jolie, right?
Yeah, it's kind of about the guys that we passed up that got drafted
Right.
after the guys that we drafted.
Yeah. And so you got into these guys, all these linebackers, honestly, if we were just left with one of these linebackers, like if we look in the 6th round, even has some linebackers that I'm like, oh man, that would have been nice. Um, Where is it?
There was a lot of linebackers available.
Harold Perkins. Like Harold Perkins was a great 6th round pick. Like this guy has a lot of
Aiden
upside.
Fisher from Indiana.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's that there's a lot of guys that I feel like there was meat on the bone here that we just left. And round 4 was like the principal round for that. It just screamed the fact that Kyle Lewis went 138. Like we should have swooped in there. Bryce Lance, I'm not really mad about that, but Bryce Botcher, right? Another linebacker. Some of these linebackers, Trey Moore, right? These guys that we could have jumped in, Caleb Elamzor. That's a little rich for Caleb Elamzor, but it is what it is.
But still, we need depth there. I mean, we have Spillane and Ellis, and they both missed time last year with injuries. We have nothing backing them up right now at this point. You got KJ Britt, you got Chad Muma, and now you have this kid, Oebazor. What's his name? Namdi Oebazor.
Yeah.
We have him now, too, and he looks like a special teams player to me, at least at first.
He'll be probably a core special teamer from day one. He's just an athletic kid, and he's I think he's older, right? He's like 25 or something.
Yeah. And that was another theme of day 3. Karan Prunty, 24 years old. Demetrius Crownover, 24 years old. That guy, 24 years old. These guys, they've been in college for 5 and 6 years, and you're drafting them late. That doesn't scream development to me. If these kids were 22 years old, it'd be a whole different ball of wax. But these guys being 24 and 25 years old, they're gonna have one contract, and that's gonna be basically about the whole extent of it. And you can point to the fact that 2027 is going to be a much deeper draft than this one was. All right, guess what? That doesn't help us this year. So it doesn't mean you're allowed to punt on some of these things just because next year's draft is going to be so strong. So it was a little bit confusing. We got guys that are pretty much clear special teamers, at least to start. And I don't know what we're going to do at linebacker position, depth, and safety depth. I was convinced they were going to draft a safety. Convinced.
Yeah.
They didn't even touch it. They did not even touch it. So it's all right, Kevin Byard. So they're putting their eggs in baskets that if one person goes down, you don't have a backup for that. If one of the safeties goes down, you got Del Pettis, who's a nice special teamer and is a good nickel linebacker in certain packages. But he's not an everyday safety, And the same thing with the linebackers. Now we swapped out Jack Gibbons for KJ Britt. How is that not just a wash?
Make it make sense. Yeah, and I do think we talked about this before the pod, Mike. We talked about last year we had Craig Woodson, right? And we said it was a 4th round pick. We're like, oof, I never even heard of this guy. And we did some research, and he's like a smart guy. The whole team leaned on him, team captain.
I was down on it, and you
we were down on it, and we kind of like, all right, I can see there's a smart kid. He's versatile. He plays the deep half, and he can play up in the box. He can he makes tackles. So we kind of figured it out. All right, they want versatility. And that was very clear when they let Peppers and Duggar go, right? And so who is that guy in this draft? Maybe it's, to me, it could be who knows? It could be Jam Miller, right? These running backs last year, we saw plenty of 6th, 7th round running backs that end up just panning out year one, like Kyle Monungai and some of these dudes. So that could be something that pans out. The dude's, he's fast, he's electric. Could be a player that gets time if, let's say, Ramondre goes down or Trevion goes down or somebody, maybe he gets thrust into a position. Karan Prunty, I mean, he seems like an aggressive player, right? He got some flags, he got some aggressive issues, but for a boundary corner, you kind of want that, and you want them to kind of grow into that role. But who knows? Carlton Davis goes down, he could be thrust into a major role. So they did address some positions. And then you just look at the top end of this and you go, okay, Caleb, now our line is set. We're set. We're absolutely set at line. If things happen, we can make moves. Gabe Yakis, This guy does everything. The guy seemingly does everything, can set the edge, can get after the quarterback. He's relentless. And then you got some question marks. You got some, Namdi Obiaza, right? This guy's, like you said, he's going to be a core special teamer. Will he get some run on defense? Who the hell knows? These guys, they might thrust him into some action and see what he's got, probably in the preseason. But yeah, I think overall, Mike, I don't know. For me, it feels like, because we went top heavy, which I said I would be happy with if we moved up and got aggressive, which we did. The first 2 picks, we moved up and got aggressive. We move up 8 spots here and 3 spots here. That's a big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal. So
I appreciate him doing it.
Yeah, and I think you got to give him, probably a solid B- C+ at worst.
Oh, as far as the overall grade, I'm going to give them a B-. Because like I said, the first 3 picks, I honestly think they're all A+. I really do, including Raritan. I think that he can really be molded into a special type of tight end that can do everything. He can be a complete guy once him and Caleb Lamu, they fill out, they're going to be stars in this league for a long time to come. You don't need to wait for Akis to freaking fill out, man. That kid is a tank. He's got biceps on top of biceps. So that guy's ready to go right now. So it's just, I grade it on the aggregate of the first 3 picks I give A+ to, and the rest of the draft I give about a D+. So in my convoluted way of grading things, that equates to me to about like a B. Because I put way more stock into the first 3 guys, because those are the guys that are going to contribute right away, and then the depth will come afterwards. But as far as the running back position is concerned, I don't mind Jam Miller, but if he's going to like impede, like we saw Lan Larison last year, you know what I mean? And that kid is, he might have come from a small school from UC Davis, but his skill set is everything, all of it. He can catch, he can run, he can block, he can play on special teams, he can do all that stuff. Jam Miller is not the same type of player, man. The only thing Jam Miller can do is run in between the tackles, and he doesn't have great vision either. So he like plods and runs into a lineman or a linebacker, and that's as far as he's going to go. He's never pulled off a run more than 25 yards at any point in his career. So with all that speed, if you don't have the vision, then you're still not going to be a home run hitter in that particular regard. So I would be interested to see how that the running back room shapes out moving forward.
I agree. So yeah, let's look at. I want to look at the other teams, Mike. I think we're both in vehement agreement here that the Patriots had a good draft. It wasn't a great draft. What keeps them to me into hitting a great draft is you hit all the key positions, right? And to me, that's the 2 positions they missed were linebacker and safety. And I would have rather had 5 picks and then be a linebacker and a safety than have however many picks we had, 9 or whatever it was, and just miss out on those positions entirely. I don't know. It just seems like it's a whiff in that regard. So you can't get any more than a B-, B.
Yeah.
And then so you look at the Dolphins, right? And now, granted, they're in a totally different situations. Look at these picks they had. Holy God, they had what, 12 picks?
Yeah, they got some good value with what they had, man.
They really did. I mean, they had to draft the whole team. They're gonna, $1 billion in dead cap space. Not a billion, but you know what I mean.
Aiden Proctor was a slam dunk. Jacob Rodriguez
Chris Johnson.
was a slam dunk.
Yeah.
The Will Kasmerick thing, I thought that was a major reach.
These are weird. These are kind of weird picks. Caleb Douglas and Will Kasmerick. I'm kind of like, it seems like a reach. Chris Bell. I love the Chris Bell pick.
Yeah.
3rd round. I mean, you can't argue that.
And you love the Kyle Lewis pick. And I like the Michael Tapp pick too.
Seriously. Kevin Coleman's another great receiver. This guy's a slot dynamo, dude. This guy gets open at will in the slot. So you got Chris Bell, taking the top off, running that like AJ Brown role. Then you got Kevin Coleman in the slot. I don't know. I like what they're doing. I don't think that they're going to be anything special this year. They're going to have a lot of rookies starting because they got a lot of open starting spots. So, and you got Malik Willis, which, we'll see what he can do.
Yeah,
But I think
I'm not expecting great things from him, to be honest
I
with you.
I gotta give him an A minus. Like I'm just like there's so much talent here, so much high end talent that they were able to get in the meat of this draft, this 3 to 5 range. They just slam dunked it. They literally did.
He did.
Um,
I agree.
and you walk away with some of the best linebackers, Chris Johnson, who's arguably one of the best corners, one of the best O tackles, right? I mean, they're just slam dunk in these key positions, so you can't give them any less than a B plus. I mean, I would say I would argue for an A minus.
I just don't have any confidence in their structure.
No,
Those two dudes that came over from Green Bay, John Eric Sullivan's their GM, and Jeff Hafley, who was the coach at BC, and now he's the coach of the Dolphins. I don't know. That guy's a college coach, so I don't know how that's going to actually translate. But I'm not super nervous about them in any way whatsoever.
no, you're taking a step. Mike McDaniels, you're taking a step back from that. Maybe not from the head coaching standpoint, but from that offensive system, it's you're not going to touch Mike McDaniels. And I'm super high on the Chargers as far as fantasy this year with Mike McDaniels because he's going to turn that whole system up.
Probably.
So you got the Jets now, and again, the Jets they've hit the reset button. You still got Breece Hall, you still got Garrett Wilson, you still got some players on defense, but for the most part, they hit the reset button here. You got Geno Smith coming in. They draft David Bailey. I mean, the obvious pick here, you have to take him. Kenyon Sadiq. I would argue they had different needs at this pick, but you can't like argue with Kenyon Sadiq because they drafted Mason Taylor last year, so this is an interesting one where Mason Taylor is more of a traditional tight end and Kenyon Sadiq's more of a move kind
Yeah.
of joker tight end.
Yep.
But then Omar Cooper, 30th overall. I mean, that just fell right into their lap. That's beautiful for them. D'Angelo
Pons. It was a good
I
pick.
mean, they smash it here. Daryl Jackson's a solid D tackle. Cade Glubnik, I mean, who the hell knows at that point?
They got
Is he the guy
VJ
of the future?
They got DJ Payne in the 7th round. I wanted him in the 7th round.
Exactly.
Why
Yeah, as I'm
couldn't
saying,
we
like
let him
any
in?
safety, give us any safety. They didn't draft a single one. And
At
trust
that
me, Mike, I'm
point,
with you.
you know
I'm
what I
with you,
mean?
man.
So it's like, what
But
the
like
heck?
this top 5 picks right here, like I'm sorry, but they slam dunked it. They tomahawk dunked these first 5 picks. To me, these guys are again A minus A range. Like at least these guys are all day one starters. Every one of these guys is a day one starter.
I give those guys a solid A right across the board. I can't
You have
lie.
to. You have to. And if Cade Glubnik Klubnik pans out, then they could
Yeah,
be
however
cooking.
that goes. Klubnik sounds about right.
So then we go to our arch nemesis, the Buffalo Bills. And so add in DJ Moore here, right? Then they got a lot of picks, man. They got TJ Parker, which I think is amazing value at 35. Like we were saying, if TJ Parker's there at 31, run to the podium. And then obviously Lomu fell. But slam dunk, they needed an edge. They're not re-signing Joey Bosa, who kind of, shit his pants last year. Then we got Davison Igbino's son. But he's the best corner. Yeah, best corner at Ohio State. They followed it up with a tackle. Obviously
I
they
like
need some
Drew
linemen.
Bowery. I don't like that
Yeah,
pick.
yeah. And then Skylar Bell, just massive ceiling on this guy. He's a burner. He's tall. He's got all the tools to be a great receiver for them, and they don't really have that. And they have Keon Coleman. They got DJ Moore. Not quite burners there.
And they got the TCU linebacker I would have rather had other than
Yes.
the guy that we actually did draft. So
Yeah,
and
I really liked him.
Yeah, I like Jalen Kilgore, the safety out of South Carolina. I like Zane Durant, the DT out of Penn State. Like guys like that, I would have been more than happy to have on a team. And they made a steal. It went under the radar, but like their last pick in round 7 was Armaj Reed Adams, the guard from Texas A&M. and he had gotten a bunch of hype before the draft. So I think they got an incredible value on that. I would have much rather taken him than a third running back or a third quarterback at that particular stage of the game, because I feel like we do need a little bit of interior lineman depth. But I think they did pretty good all around. Like I told you, I was looking on SI, and they have the Bills grade as a D plus, and I just don't agree with it at all. Like I'm looking at this list of players, this looks like a B to me across the board. So I don't know what their problem is.
Hold on 1 minute. I don't know what's going on upstairs, but
Oh Jesus,
my
Joe.
kids, I got my wife yelling. I'm like, wait, is my wife yelling right now?
Oh, for the love of
Anyways,
God.
so no, I really liked their draft. I really think that leaving the draft last year, I thought, well, did the Bills get better and how much better did they get? Right. And that was kind of what I was thinking, is how much better did the Bills get last year? And just looking at this team, you look at Maxwell Hairston across from Davison. I can't say this guy's last name, but Davison, the guy sure, that guy. But you start to look at their team now, and you look at their defense, and their big defensive problem was their secondary and their pass rush, right? And now you get TJ Parker, you got this guy from Ohio State. And then on offense, they were really lacking offensive weapons for Josh Allen, right? And granted, we stole their fullback, so they're not going to probably run the ball as well. But they're going to have DJ Moore, and they're going to have this kid Skylar Bell, year 3 of Keon Coleman, maybe a healthy Kincaid, right? So they're starting to really build on this team, and I think they're in a win now situation with Bean. So they might not be done. Who knows? They might go after some more players. But they have a whole new coaching system. So this is it's gonna be interesting. It's really gonna be interesting. But I do think that they made the right draft picks. They made the right draft picks, and their team is definitely, I think they're on the upward trajectory if their offense, if their offensive scheme and their coach can take them to the next level. But
well, I don't know. Like as far as their roster, I like their roster a lot, but I personally thought it was a mistake to fire Sean McDermott. Like I know he didn't take them ever to the AFC Championship game or anything like that, but that was more of a byproduct of what he had on the field to work with than the actual deal. Like Joe Kelly, he's been with them for a while, but I don't have any confidence in him at all. Now, having said that, the Bills are still a force to be reckoned with because of one man. They have one man who can wreck a game.
What's his name? I don't know. What's that guy's name?
Yeah, I don't know what Josh Allen's name, but what I do know is that he can wreck shop whenever you give him chance. So I will never rule that guy out. And I don't know why they graded the Bills draft like that poorly, but I don't have faith in Joe Brady as a coach. I think he's a player coach to an nth degree that makes it a diminishing return. Like he's going to go out of his way to placate Josh McDaniels and Josh Allen. I'm sorry. And I think it's not going to go well. Personally, I still think that we have control of the AFC East. Now, I have other thoughts about that as far as my confidence level about the general outlook of the Patriots this year. And we can get into that in some of the subsequent. We're going to have a lot of airtime to fill between now and training camp. So we can get into that in the subsequent weeks and whatnot. But I personally feel like overall the Patriots took a little bit of a hit this offseason. And I say that for two reasons, because we literally didn't re-sign any of our unrestricted free agents who were the guys that Mike Vrabel brought in here to build the team. You know, guys like Gibbons and Caleb Chason and all the other guys that they didn't really bring back. And I was like, okay, well, they're looking to get younger and faster. Okay, good. Get younger and faster. But then what you show me in the third day is that the guys you let go aren't being replaced with guys that are younger or faster because they're all 24 years old. None of them are all that friggin' fast, you know.
And how are
So
they going to play week 1, right? How are they going to play? Are they going to play week 1? Are they going to have to take a year or two to mature? You know, by the time they're 26, 27, what are we talking about here? We're talking about guys that are on like one contract and done, or are they going to get a second contract? Or yeah,
seriously,
it's kind of a weird position, but we do have, you know, we have control of a tackle for 5 years, right? That's huge. We got Akis, who's, you know, going to be in his prime, you know, probably year 1, year 2 into year 3, he'll start to get into his prime, and then we'll have to sign him to a deal or not. But so yeah, we have some guys that are key. Eli Raridan's a really interesting case. I mean, I think his floor feels like a poor man's Hunter Henry. I think that's his floor, right?
oh for sure.
And then, but I think his ceiling is something around like Trey McBride. I really do. I think he can be that sneaky, deceptively fast. He knows how to get open. He knows how to hit the seam. He can be a guy that with Drake May, he could ascend. He could really ascend and be a weapon, and he can put on some weight and be a blocker as well. I mean, he does both things. So
I have another comparison for you. He's a very rich man's Adam Gesicki in the sense that
Mike
they're both
Gesicki.
yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, Mike Gesicki. They're both the
Yeah.
same size, around the same weight and whatnot, but Gesicki can't block at all, and
True.
Raridan can. So that's why I say, because when I see Raridan move in space, he does look like Gesicki going out on routes and stuff like that. And Gesicki was a great route runner. He just had no inline capabilities whatsoever, and Raridan does. So that's why I call him a Gesicki that can actually block. That's kind of
Gesicki plus maybe.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm going with.
Yeah, and if you watch Jeremiah Love's runs, right, because obviously they're in the same offense there. You look at his big runs, and you got a lot of seal blocks from Eli Raridan, and
Absolutely.
he's not a brute force blocker like a Gronk, and maybe he'll turn into that if he puts on some weight, hits the gym, you know, with the NFL training system. We got Mayo, right? Was it Duran Mayo?
Yeah. You still got a Mayo in the building, yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, he hits the weight room, and I think, you know, he becomes less of a creative blocker, and he could become more of a violent blocker. But I've seen his ability to kind of shield and get in front of people and put himself in between the running back and himself, and just really kind of, you know, use his body, contort his body to get in the way of people. But maybe he, like I said, maybe he puts on a little more weight, and they want him to be more of a traditional inline blocker, which he could turn into, you know, Sam Laporta or one of these guys, right?
Or a baby Gronk. People are comparing a baby
Gronk. Sure. I mean, I know that's kind of, that gets into a realm of like, holy shit, like you got to be real special to fill those monstrous shoes.
He has to gain 20 pounds before he can even get in that conversation.
Seriously. But I do love it. I love that they went top heavy, right? I don't love that they didn't have a 4th round pick. We didn't pick for like 100 picks, it felt like. And then 5th,
it was 95 to like 170,
something like, yeah, it felt like 100. It felt like forever. It felt like
it was almost on. It was like 80 something picks.
I know. But I mean, here it is, right? Like, we're in this situation where I think we did hit in the top 3, which at that point, that's a success, right? If you can hit on the top 3 picks in the first 3 rounds and you trade up to get your guys, I can't be any more happy than that for the most part. Because when it comes down to it, those 4 to 7s, you're probably like, we like guys. I liked guys last year in the 4 to 7s, and I bet 80%.
There's no guarantees on any of these late round picks, you know?
Right. So
you have the same possibility of signing an undrafted free agent, which they'll probably have at least a couple of those make the team. So it's almost the same type of playing field, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, I just look at our schedule, and we'll get into this in the coming weeks. You know, we have plenty of time to talk about this stuff. Now we got the free agency, you know, the free agent market opened up. That was the big news. We made some splashes there in the first week, made some more depth pieces later on. And then big ramp up to the draft. We did a ton of mock drafts. We looked at a lot of players, learned about a lot of players we didn't know about. Finally, we have the results. And now it's going to be it's the waiting game until AJ Brown, because I mean we're at like 35, 34 days, something like that, until June 2nd. So that'll be the next shoe to drop. And what do they do? Do they go, out into the free agent market and look at a linebacker? They don't need to look at a safety right now because we have two safeties, but do they go get a linebacker? I think that would be smart to even just get another depth piece that's a little more than a, KJ Britt. Like, come on, like that guy's not playing any meaningful snaps.
I'll
but yeah,
pose a question to you though. How many PFF mock drafts did you do in this draft season? Estimate.
I'd
I'm
probably
saying about
say
1,000.
I'm probably guessing around at least 300-400 is my guess.
Yeah.
And that's just, and when I'm laying in bed, my wife's got, Real Housewives of whatever on, and I'm just like, well, I guess I'm mocking. But yeah, no, it was a great draft season because this was a really weird draft, right? It was one of these like deep drafts.
It was a lot of fun.
Without a lot of blue chips. Now next year, I'll probably do 1,000. I'll probably do 1,000 mocks because it's gonna be that draft's gonna be crazy.
Draft.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that already. But I think we're in a good spot, Mike. I don't feel like we didn't peak like we did last season. Like last season, coming off free agency, coming off the draft, we were like, it was kind of wild. Because like you said, we did lose a lot of guys, but then we did just gain a lot. Like we're definitely, Mike, running the football. We were saying this before the draft, right? We were saying all these additions, AVT, Gilliam, and the Julian Hill. Right. So we did that, and then we took our top pick and put it into a tackle that who knows, they're like, is this guy gonna jump in for Moses? Is he gonna, who knows where he's gonna, do they think he can play guard in a pinch? Like, who knows? Regardless, they were like, no, we're not gonna have a problem in line. We're gonna protect Drake May and we're gonna run the fucking football. And they did it again in the third round with Eli Raritan. They could have picked other receiving tight ends, or they could have traded out of that spot. No, they traded up for Eli Raritan. So this is all telling me that they want to run the football, and I'm happy to see it because I think Trevion, his weakness has been his vision. But if he doesn't get touched for the first 3 yards, fucking vision doesn't matter. It literally doesn't, because he's going to get to that space no matter what. If you give him 3 yards. So to me, I think Trevion Henderson and Ramondre and maybe Lane Larrison have an opportunity to really, really, really shine this year, because they're going to focus on it. I guarantee they're going to focus on running the football with everything they're doing in the offseason. It's just points screaming, we're going to run the football.
Good. Any good offense needs to be able to do that first.
Yep. So and then we just open up Drake May. We open up the play action, and good luck. Good luck defending downfield when we got AJ Brown, Romeo Doubs with all his separation. Kyle Williams, year 2 Kyle Williams. I don't care what anybody says. I'm excited about year 2 Kyle Williams. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people.
I feel like, personally with him, I think they're going to try to move him inside and try to make him more of a little bit of a slot receiver. He's got the perfect size for it, and he's got the perfect quickness for it. They tried him at X, but he's an undersized X, and I don't think he really overwhelmed us with that at all. And especially if we get AJ Brown, I feel that guy is going to get moved to the inside, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. You can still get open, and within the scheme of all the other guys that we have, I think he could have a role. But all these things are contingent upon AJ Brown coming here. So, Joe, is it a foregone conclusion that AJ Brown's here? Because everybody seems to be talking about it.
It's got to be, man. I the only thing I could see is another team swooping in, or Howie just gets really, spiteful and just says, all right, you don't want to give us a first, I'll go take a second from the Bills or go take a second from a rival of yours or something. Who knows?
But do you think
Um,
that a 2028 first round pick is too rich for him right now?
no way. Nope. You got to give it up. You have to give it up
You do it.
because I'm willing to give a 2027 second. So if you're willing to give a 2027 second, then you're probably willing to give a 2028 first. So that's just the way I
Yeah.
see it. I would
Well,
like
that's
to
the
see a
value. That's
I would
the way the
love to
value.
see a pick swap with that though. If we go round 2028, give me your 2027 fourth, and we'll give you a 2027 fifth or something like that, right? Give me
Something
a
like
pick
that.
swap to give us a little bit of more compensation on the back end because that's going to be big. That fourth round pick in 2027 is going to be a fucking stud. It'd probably be a second rounder this year.
Do you have any concerns about AJ Brown's A, age, B, wear and tear, or C, the fact that he has a quote unquote degenerative knee condition?
I think a lot of what we're seeing with AJ Brown is a little bit of fatigue from that team. I do think there's a little frustration with the offense, a little frustration with how he's being utilized. But I think there that comes with a lot of these receivers as they get older and they stay on a team for a little while. There's a little bit of a fatigue and they need a new change of scenery. I think Mike Vrabel, he has immense respect for Mike Vrabel. I think he loves the idea of playing for Drake May, and he's a childhood like Patriots like just
Super
mega fan.
fan.
So like to me, it just one of those things where it's like late career, perfect fit, makes a lot of sense, and he's gonna ball out for us. He's gonna give us everything he's got. Whether that means he's gonna play all the games, who knows, right? That the knee thing acts up, hammies act up. But like these aging veterans, sometimes hammies and stuff and leg injuries can crop up. So I hopefully it doesn't happen, but I'll take AJ Brown. I'll take him all day long. He'll be the best receiver we've had since Randy
So
Moss.
you're good with it. You're good with it.
Yeah, you have to. You have to be because we need to push the chips in this year. We've clearly done that by moving up and taking some guys that solidify our depth at offensive line, our edge position, which now I'm a huge Draymond Jones fan. I think we can get I think Draymond Jones with Milton Williams and Barmore. I think if he sees a lot of single teams, he's going to win a lot of third down reps.
I agree.
And I think also Gabe Akis is going to slide into a role like that too. Harold Landry coming back from injury, he might surprise a lot of people. He was hot. He was on a burner the first part of last year, so he could play really well too. So when it comes down to it, Mike, I think we're an 11-win team. I'll be on record saying it now. I think this is an 11-win team. I said it last year. I said the same thing this year. I just think some of these teams that we're playing have gotten worse. Some of them have gotten a little better, but I just like our system and I like what we're going for. I'm going to run down your throat, and my defense is going to stop you from scoring points flat out. And we're going to win the field position game, and we're also going to win the trenches, just flat out.
I'm going to reserve my win total prediction until the schedule comes out.
Yeah, I
Because I
hear you.
feel like the logistically, sometimes it does play a factor.
It does.
I'm along the general lines as you, Joe. I'm not going to pick like, for example, less than 10 wins.
Right, right,
I
right.
have to be insane to do that, or a massive pessimist. I don't think that. I think we have momentum. We can build off we have last year, but there's just a couple of things that have gone on, the Vrabel thing and whatnot, that kind of set us back a little bit. And it's an unneeded distraction. And I don't want that. I just want them to focus on goddamn football. Like, it shouldn't be that tough. But people take things and run with it. They take something that's in some guy's obvious personal life and make it a public spectacle. I can't control that. I have nothing to do with any of that. All we can do is react to it. But it just puts a lot of smoke to the fire there. Like, as far as people, all eyes on Vrabel right now, and it's going to be very interesting to see how he handles that adversity. I think he's going to come through it unscathed personally, but that doesn't mean other people aren't going to constantly talk about it, because that's what people do, is constantly talk about salacious material, no matter how much it is or is not relevant to whatever football operation that these guys are trying to win, trying to run. So I'm interested to see how the whole process works out. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm also filled with a lot of anticipation too.
Agreed, Mike. 100%. We want to keep the main thing, and that's football.
Please,
The
please.
fact that TMZ is following around his wife,
Nonsense.
absolutely disgusting. Like, just get off of it. Seriously. Like, I know
People
what
are
sells.
shameless. Like, that's your job,
Yeah,
dude.
enough.
That is your friggin' job to harass people. Like, what is the matter with you? That's where you found yourself in life, is to do this particular thing. You're the
Yeah, it's
most
shameless.
reprehensible person on the fucking planet if you're doing some shit like that. Running around a guy that is not, he's a fucking football coach. He's not a damn tabloid superstar or anything. He's not a real housewife where they get into drama every 5 seconds. They're filming the guy buying a sweater at an airport, for crying out loud. And you're just sitting there minding his own goddamn business, and they like make it a story. Like,
Yeah.
leave the friggin' guy alone, for crying out loud. But the only thing that's gonna correct that is with A, time, and B, him not fucking up again or doing something stupid. If he does something else stupid, then I don't know how to react. But just don't fuck up and just keep doing your job, and everything's going to be fine. Let this thing wash. We've dealt with much, much worse controversies over the past several years, as
Oh
far as
yeah.
I'm concerned. So if you just keep the thing, like you said, the main thing, and just keep doing your job, hopefully everybody will eventually forget about it, except for Jared Stillman, that friggin' troll from Tennessee that's always bashing on Mike Vrabel. That friggin' guy is such a jerk. I swear to God. I like to get him on the podcast. Jared Stillman.
Oh,
I
I'd
like to
love
get
it.
that guy in the podcast, and I'll give him a piece of my friggin' 2 cents. I'll swear to God.
Yeah, it's a shame. It really is. But regardless, Mike, we're gonna keep chugging. We're gonna keep
Yeah.
chugging on. This team's gonna keep chugging on. You're not gonna stop Drake May. Drake May's coming whether you like it or not. Give Drake May 3-4 seconds in the pocket. Good fucking luck. That's all I gotta say to these teams. If we had a functioning offensive line in that Super Bowl, I'm telling you right now, it would have been a different result. So yeah, I'm excited, Mike. I think, like you said, time will heal all things, and we'll get past this. There'll be some other scandal or something people can focus on, and we'll be able to get back to just football. But yeah,
That's
I
all I
think
want. That's all I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about anything that happens outside those white lines. You know what I mean?
agreed. Well, it's been a great episode, Mike. We got, like you said, we got a lot of episodes now until we have some more action. So we're gonna have like things like rookie mini camp. We're gonna have probably maybe some more free agent signings. Maybe some interesting people get cut. June 2nd is kind of the next big date for any post June 1st
Yeah,
designations.
for obvious
Um,
reasons.
for obvious reasons, but there's other reasons too. There's other players that applies to as well. So, but yeah, I think we're gonna have a fun off season. I'm really excited for all the dates that are coming up, training camp, all that stuff. We don't want to wish away the summer because it's not even here yet, but it also feels good when you're like finally hitting like end of June, early July. You get past July 4th, and you're like, all right, it's football time. Let's go. Zoom ahead. Let's go. So
Absolutely,
yeah.
100%.
I love the pool. I love sunbathing. I love drinking and out in the nice sun and everything, but there's nothing like football, man. There really isn't.
It's just all just waiting through the off season until the regular season starts for people like you and me. That's all
Yeah,
that it is.
it's true.
It's just things to pass our time until football comes back around again.
That's what it
And
comes
on that,
down to.
yeah, and on that same note, this might be the slow season, but I guarantee you, Joe, you and I are going to have things to fill out around an hour out every single week because we're always going to have stuff that we want to talk about. So that's how we round out our time. So we're not going anywhere. We're
Never.
still going to be doing this every single week, even in the slow season, because there's millions of things to touch upon. We just go about, what the news of the day is and take it from there. But no, it's going to be a good off season. We're going to have a great summer, and then we're going to come back with a freaking vengeance in training camp.
Oh, I can't wait, dude. I cannot wait to be sitting on those bleachers with Foxborough Fellas, with Scotty B, with Savage, with
Hanging out.
NFL, Pat's Red Zone, with 12th Musket, all these guys. Bry Talks Pats. I'm not sure if he'll make it out there. Rodnick, he might come out. Who knows from PA.
It's a
All
fun
these
time.
guys.
Training camp's a fun time for us.
Oh, it's a blast. We
We
all get
get together
together.
with the old,
We're taking our
yeah,
notes. The Viz is gonna fly in, right? All these guys fly in.
yeah.
And every year I think it's gonna get more special for us because now we're a part of this community. And I think that's, to me, that's like what I thrive in. And like I thrive in like being a part of this Patriots community, sharing thoughts. Because then we educate each other at the end of the day too. We people have different scoops. Los Talks Pats was telling us some things he heard from Mike Reese, right? Like all these different kind of angles that we have now. I think just 1 year of doing this podcast and we're already like way farther ahead than we were last year. So
Hell
I'm
yeah.
really excited.
That's because of your efforts, Joseph. Your networking skills are second to none. I'd like to say the same thing about me, but we all know how I fall on that. So
Well, I force myself in, Mike, but you have your personality on air is second to none. I'll give you that. Your personality, there's not another Mike LFG in the industry. I'll tell you that much. It doesn't exist.
I just give it how I see it. That's all it is. I just tell how I see it, and it seems to work out great for us. So I'm very grateful and thankful for all of it.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Mike and I, it wouldn't be a show if Mike and I didn't go over an hour. We are the long form. We've tried to talk about, oh, let's go 35, 40. No, we're never going 45 minutes. We're always going the full hour plus.
Have we ever said, "Oh my God, how are we gonna fill this hour out?"
Never.
Not once has that ever happened.
Exactly. But I love it. That's why we love it, Mike. That's why we're here, because we love it. We enjoy it too much.
That's what we do, bro.
All right. Well, as always, everybody, let's fucking go.